of Stevens Point Public Policy and General Government meeting, recorded March 11, 2024.
Public Policy and General Government is called to order at 6:03 p.m. Wait, no, we can't call it to order yet.
Yes, we can.
Oh, we can, okay. All right, 6:03, or 4. All right, clerk, would you please call the roll?
Fischler.
Here.
Kiemer.
Here.
Plassance.
Here.
Kneebone.
Here.
Lang.
Here.
Oh, is that everybody?
Everybody's here.
Oh, okay. All right, item 2A is a Class A beer and liquor license from Ingram Enterprise at 5370 US Highway 10, Stevens Point, for a license period beginning April 1st, 2024. Is there a motion?
You could do them all if you'd like.
Oh, okay.
Together.
Sure.
All the licenses and then all the street closings you could do together if you choose to.
Okay. Item B is an extension of license premise for Stevens Point Brewery at 2617 Water Street in Stevens Point. And that's a request for an extension of premise to include Stevens Point Brewery, Cider Boys Cider Company at 2617 Water Street, Stevens Point. And it's adjacent tap room, gift shop, and seasonal fenced-in beer garden, spaced on the same side of the road. Item 2C is a temporary Class B beer and Class B wine license for the Boys and Girls Club of Portage County, and that's at 941 Michigan Avenue, Stevens Point, for the Portage County Taste of Wine and Cheese being held on April 19th, 2024 at 4501 Highway 66 in Stevens Point. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the license list as presented.
Alder Kiemer, is there a second?
Second.
Alder Plassance. Any questions, comments from the committee? Hearing none. Any questions, comments from the audience? Hearing none. All those in favor of approval, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed would be no. And item 2A, B, and C have been approved. Item 3 is to request to hold an event street closing for the Easter egg hunt being held on March 30th, 2024, the trivia parade being held on April 12th, 2024, the Stevens Point Auxiliary Police Department Brat Fry and Car Show on May 5th, 2024, the summer solstice on June 20th, 24, and the Walk for Hope 2024 on September 14th, 2024. Are there, yes?
Just for clarification, the summer solstice, we're not closing for the summer solstice. It's the Central Wisconsin Symphony Orchestra has an event incorporating the solstice into it.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. All right, is there a motion? Okay, Alder Kneebone?
You can't say there's nothing to do in Stevens Point. I'll move to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Alder Kiemer, seconds. I did have a question, though, on the mayor. You submitted the Easter egg hunt, and it said, for police presence, not needed but couldn't hurt to have.
So, if I may, this is an annual event. It used to be run by the downtown businesses. They've backed away a little bit from that, and mainly now it's a small group of volunteers, myself included, Christy Stacy at the Children's Museum, and tons of volunteers. So while it's not needed, if there was an opportunity for the auxiliary, or I know we've had law enforcement come down there and, make sure we keep the peace with the eggs. Not needed, but certainly wouldn't hurt.
I guess they're not really stealing them, they're finding them.
No, they're not. Yeah, they're finding them. We hide them in plain sight, though. 10,000 eggs this year.
And Chief Cousteau, do you have any concerns about any of the other events?
No issues at all.
Okay. All right. Any questions or comments from the committee? Hearing none. Any questions, comments from the audience? Hearing none. All those in favor of approval, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed would be no. And items 3A, B, C, D, E have been approved. All right. Item number 4 is an ordinance amendment for section 12.05 for the cigarette, electronic vaping devices, and tobacco product. And Mayor, did you want to elaborate, or is there anybody else?
Sure. I know this came through the police department, predominantly with some vaping issues at schools. I don't know if Logan's in the overflow room, but if he is, maybe come on over. But this has come through as a request, keeping up with the times, modernizing our ordinances. You will probably see some things in regards to some of the synthetics, Delta 8, Delta 9, which are very dangerous, by the way. This one addresses specifically electronic vaping devices as it relates to, incorporated into smoking. And there we go.
Sorry, what exactly was the item again?
I'm sorry, Section 12.05, the cigarette and electronic vaping.
Just what brought it to light, I guess, if that would be helpful.
Can I see the copy of it again? I hadn't looked
Sure.
at this. Oh, okay. So yeah, it was a change to the statutes that just had us need to add some categories to this. I mean, we do licensing for sales of these things, and then when I got into it, I noticed that there was a missing section reference there. That's all. I will say this: I am working on a broader ordinance that relates to some of the same subject matter that we'll be bringing forward next month.
Okay.
But this is just for the licensure for the retailers that goes through the clerk's office. So
So just an update,
it's
basically.
basically housekeeping stuff.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion?
I
I have some questions, actually.
Oh, Sam Lang has a question?
I was looking at this ordinance and the language in it, and I see the two statutes that we're citing, and I was curious to why we're not including Section 14 or the Wisconsin Statute 139.75. It includes the actual language vapor product means, and it's the definition. I was just wondering why, if we're going to be doing the vapor, things, why we're not using that exact statute to cite. Or is that just newness? Maybe we should just get it in there. I don't know.
Give me a moment to pull those up here. So you were asking why aren't we referencing sections which?
It's 139.75, and then the 14 is what there's a little paragraph 14 there. 12 is tobacco products, 14 defines vapor products, and I was like, if we're talking about that, figure that would be relevant to include.
This has got to be a thrilling bit of radio right now. Okay, so I think the best answer to that is the sections that we do have referenced here relate to our clerk's office and its role in issuing licenses for these, whereas the section that you're referencing relates to a statewide tax collection system, which is for the same types of products, but it's kind of for a different purpose. So I wouldn't be surprised if you look through the statutes if you find either cross-references between these two sections, the one you referenced and the one that's stated in the draft here. I wouldn't be surprised to see some cross-references in terms of the definitions for the products being shared. Either that or some definitions of those that are essentially duplicative, the same in both statutes. But certainly you're correct to look to that other section in the other chapter as pertaining to these same products, but it's for the taxation scheme rather than the licensing scheme. So we are just basically going direct to the section of law that authorizes us to do the licensure, which is, because we don't collect the taxes on these things, we just do the licensing for it. The licensing does help the state facilitate the taxation of it, so it's kind of how they have their logs for who is actually selling these things and then who they need to look to for the tax remuneration. But we're not responsible for collecting those taxes.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay. I don't think there's a motion yet, or did we? No, we didn't.
I was going to say, Kima moved.
I made a motion to approve. I don't think
Oh,
there's
we don't have a second.
We need a second. Anybody?
A second.
Alder Plaisance, seconds? Okay. All right, any questions, comments from the committee again? No? Hearing none. Any questions, comments from the audience? Hearing none. All those in favor of approval, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed will be no. And item 4 is approved. And we are adjourned at 6:13 PM.
A video of this meeting is available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.